require that each declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights.
Jefferson went back and become Maryland. But as we will as soon as Chase is done telling the Maryland Assembly what we saw in New Brunswick.
He's in Annapolis right now, describing a ragtag collection of provincial militiamen who couldn't train together, drill together, or march together. But when a flock of ducks flew overhead, they saw their first full meal in 3 full days. Boom! Could they shoot together? It was a slaughter!
They're reading the Declaration.
Good God, what? How far have they got?
To render the military independent of and superior to the civil power.
Independent of and superior to.
Well, here, it's a masterpiece. And we congratulate you for making him write it.
Ah, yes, of course.
It's a masterpiece, I say. They will cheer every word, every letter. I wish I felt that way.
I believe I can put it better. Now then, attend as friend to friend, a declaration committee. For us I see immortality in Philadelphia City. A farmer, a lawyer, and a sage, come and galley in the lake. You know it's quite bizarre to think that here we are, playing midwives to an egg.
Egg? What egg?
America, the birth of a new nation.
If only we could be sure of what type of bird it's going to be.
Tom's got a point. What sort of bird shall we choose as the symbol for our new America?
The eagle.
The duck. The turkey.
The eagle.
The dove.
The eagle.
The turkey.
The eagle is a majestic bird.
The eagle is a thief, a scavenger, a coward, and a symbol of more than 10 centuries of European history.
And the turkey.
Truly noble bird, a native of North America, a source of sustenance to our early settlers, and an incredibly brave fellow who would not flinch from attacking an entire regiment of Englishmen single-handed. Therefore, the national bird of America shall be
The eagle.
the eagle.
We're waiting for the chirp, chirp, chirp of an eaglet being born. Waiting for the chirp, chirp, chirp on this humid Monday morning in this congressional incubator.
God knows the temperature's hot enough to hatch a stone, let alone an egg.
We're waiting for the scratch, scratch, scratch of that tiny little fellow. Waiting for the egg to hatch on this humid Monday morning in this congressional incubator. God knows the temperature's hot enough to hatch a stone, but will it hatch an egg? The declaration will be a triumph. A triumph, I say. If ever I was sure of anything, I'm sure of that triumph. And if it isn't, we've still got 4 days left to think of something else. The eagle's going to crack the shell of the egg that England laid. Yes, so we can tell on this humid Monday morning in this congressional incubator.
And just as Tom here is written, though the shell may belong to Great Britain, the eagle inside belongs to us.
And just as I here has written, we say to hell with Great Britain, the eagle inside belongs to us.
And that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may have right do. And for the support of this declaration, we mutually pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. The Congress has heard the report of the Declaration Committee. Are there any who wish to offer amendments, deletions, or alterations to
Highland regiment which stood against us at Boston.
It was more likely Germans who had kills to disguise their being there. They asked to remove the wall and avoid giving offense to a good people.
Mr. Jefferson?
Mr. Jefferson, nowhere do you mention the Supreme Being. Certainly this was an oversight. For how could we hope to achieve victory without his help? Therefore, I must humbly suggest this addition to your final sentence. For the firm lives, for the protection of divine providence.
Mr. Reed!
Among your charges against the king, Mr. Jefferson, you accuse him of depriving us of the benefits of trial by jury. This is untrue, sir. In Delaware, we have always had trial by jury.
In Massachusetts, we have none.
Oh, then I suggest the words, in many cases, be added.
Mr. Jefferson?
In many cases. Really? I suppose every time you see those three words, your puny little chest will swell up with pride of your great historical contribution. More memorable than your unprincipled whitewashing over that racist barbarian.
Mr. Reed, Colonel McKee, that's enough. Mr. Hopkins?
No objections from me, Johnny. I just want to drink.
I should have known. McNair, get him wrong. Mr. Bartlett?
Mr. Jefferson, I beg you to remember that we still have friends in the nation. I see no reason to antagonize them with such phrases as unfeeling brethren, enemies of war, or for the British king, not British people.
Be sensible, Bartlett. Remove those phrases and the entire paragraph becomes meaningless. And it so happens it's one of the most stirring and poetic in the entire document.
We are focused, Mr. Adams, not a literary society, as it is our paragraph experience.
Mr. Jefferson?
Good God, Jefferson, don't you ever intend to speak up for your work?
I hope that the work would speak for itself.
Mr. Hancock,
What is it, Mr. McNair?
I can't say I'm very fond of the United States of America as a name for a new country.
I don't care what you're fond of, Mr. McNair. You're not a member of this Congress. Mr. Sherman?
Brother Jefferson, I noted too the distinct and direct reference to the British Parliament in your declaration. Do you think it's wise to alienate that august body in light of our contention that they have never had any direct authority over us anyways?
God, this is a revolution, damn it! We're going to have to offend somebody.
John, you're going to have an attack of apoplexy if you're not careful.
You heard what they're doing to it, Franklin? Have you heard?
Yes, John, I've
And
heard.
so far, it's only our friends. I know what our enemies will do.
The word Parliament will be removed wherever it occurs.
They won't be satisfied until they remove one of the F's from Jefferson's name.
Courage, John, it won't last much longer.
Mr. Dickinson?
Mr. Jefferson, I have very little interest in your documents, as I'm sure we've all but heard the last of it. But I do have a question about one thing. Why do you refer to King George as a tyrant?
Because he is a tyrant.
I remind you, sir, this tyrant is still your king.
When a king becomes a tyrant, he thereby breaks the contract, binding his subjects to him.
How so?
By taking away their rights.
Rights that came from him in the first place.
All except one. The right to be free comes from nature.
Mr. Wilson, do we in Pennsylvania consider King George a tyrant?
No, of course not. It's not a tyrant.
There you are, Mr. Jefferson. Your declaration does not speak for us all. I demand the word tyrant be removed.
Just a moment, Mr. Thompson. I do not consent. The king is a tyrant whether we say so or not. We might as well say so.
But I already scratched it out.
Then scratch it back in. Put it back, Mr. Thompson. The king will remain a tyrant. Mr. Hughes.
Mr. Jefferson, nowhere do you mention fishing rights.
Good God, fishing rights! How long is this piddling to go on? We have been sitting here for 3 full days. We have endured, by my count, 85 separate changes and the removal of close to 400 words. Would you whip and beat it until you break its spirit? I tell you, this document is a masterful expression of the American mind.
If there are no has abdicated, he has plundered, he has constrained, he has excited, he has incited, he has waged cruel war. Here it is. He has waged cruel war against human nature itself, in the persons of a distant people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery in another hemisphere, determined to keep an open market where men should be bought and sold. He has prostituted...
That will suffice, Mr. Thompson. I thank you. Mr. Jackson, I can't quite make out what it is you're talking about.
Slavery, Mr. Rutledge.
Ah, you're referring to us as slaves to the king.
No, sir. I'm referring to our slaves, black slaves.
Ah, black slaves. Well, why don't you say so, sir? Were you trying to hide your meaning?
No, sir.
Just another literary license, then.
If you like.
I don't like it at all, sir. To us in South Carolina, black slavery is our peculiar institution and a cherished way of life.
Nevertheless, we must abolish it. Nothing is more certainly written in the Book of Faith than this people shall be free.
I'm not concerned with the Book of Faith right now, sir. I'm more concerned with written in your little paper there.
That little paper there deals with freedom for Americans, Rutledge.
Oh, really? Is Mr. Adams calling our black slaves Americans? Are they now?
They are. They're people and they're here. If there's any other requirement, I've never heard of it.
They are here, yes, but they are not people, sir. They are property.
No, sir. They are people who are being treated as property. I tell you, the rights of human nature are deeply wounded by this infamous practice.
Then see to your own wounds, for you are a practitioner, are you not?
I have already resolved to release my slaves.
Then I am sorry, sir, but you've also resolved the ruination of your own personal economy.
Economy. Always economy. There's more to this than a filthy purse string, Rutledge. It's an offense against man and God.
It's a stinking business, Mr. Rutledge. A stinking business.
Is it really, Mr. Hawkins? Then what's that I smell floating down from the north? Could it be the aroma of hypocrisy? But who holds the other end of that filthy purse string, Mr. Adams? Our northern brethren are feeling a bit tender towards our slaves. They don't keep slaves, no. But they're willing to be considerable carriers of slaves. To others, they're willing to hold the shilling. Oh, haven't you heard, Mr. Adams? Clink, clink. Oh, lasses to rum, to slaves. Oh, what a beautiful waltz. You dance with us, we dance with you, in molasses and rum and slaves. Who sails the ships down Boston, laden with Bibles and slaves? Who drinks a toast to the ivory coast? Hey, Africa, the sailors have come. New England with Bibles and rum. Let's off with the rum and the Bibles. Take on the slaves, click, click. Then say that farewell to the smell of the African coast. Molasses to rum to slaves. 'Tisn't morals, 'tis money that saves. Shall we dance to the sound of the profits of a pound in molasses and rum and slaves? Who sails the ships down Guinea, laden with Bibles and slaves? 'Tis Boston can boast through the West Indies coast. Jamaica, we've run what you praise. Antigua, Barbados, we run Bibles and slaves. Gentlemen, you mustn't think our northern brother merely see our slaves as figures on the ledger. Oh no, sir. They see them as figures on the book. Notice the risks and the
you all sitting around for wasting time. Precious time. Thomas, I want you to ride into Delaware and fetch him back Caesar Road.
John, are you mad? It's 80 miles on horseback. He's a giant, man.
No. He's a patriot.
John, what good? South's not here.
And suppose they change their minds. Is there any way for us to get Delaware without an army?
God, what a bastard you want.
Oh my God, that song is so good.
Chase Bartlett.
What's the use, Johnson? Vote tomorrow morning. There's less than a full minute left. I'll go talk to him, Johnny. Thanks for that, John. It's finished. Sorry, John.
There's no other choice, John. The slavery clause has to go.
I know what he's saying.
It's a luxury we can't afford.
Excuse me, a luxury. 500,000 souls in chains, and Dr. Franklin calls it a luxury. Perhaps he should have walked out with the rest of the South.
You forget yourself, sir. I founded the first anti-slavery society on this continent.
Don't you wave your credentials at me, sir. Perhaps it's time to leave them.
The issue here is independence. Maybe you have lost sight of that fact, but I have not. How dare you jeopardize our cause when we've come so far? These men, no matter how much you disagree with them, are not ribbon clerks to be ordered about. They are proud, accomplished men, the cream of their colleagues. And whether you like it or not, they and the people they represent are going to be part of the nation you hope to create. So either start learning how to live with them now, or pack up and go home. But in any case, stop acting like a Boston fishwife.
What's happened to me? John Adams, the great John Adams, wise man of the East. A law practice and pipe my farm mortgaged to the hilt. The time of life when other men prosper, I'm reduced to living in Philadelphia. Philadelphia? Abigail, what am I going to do? I need your help.
You don't usually ask for my advice.
Yes, well, there doesn't seem to be anyone else right now.
Very well, John. What is it?
The entire South has walked out of this Congress. George Washington is on the verge of total annihilation. The precious cause for which I've labored these several years has come to nothing, and it seems, well, it seems as though I'm obnoxious in this life.
Nonsense, John.
That I am unable to face reality.
Foolishness, John.
That I am pig-headed.
I'll let you have it. I'm afraid you are pig-headed.
Has it been any kind of life for you, Abigail? God knows I haven't been much.
I never asked for one. After all, I am Mrs. John Adams. It's quite a lot to my lifetime.
Is it, Abby?
Think of it, John. To be married to a man always first in line to be hanged.
Yes. The agitator. You must tell me what it is, Abigail. You must tell me. I've always been dissatisfied, I know that, but lately I reek of discontentment. It floods my brain, it fills my heart. And sometimes I feel that there is no longer a dream, but only the discontentment.
Oh, John. You really know so little of yourself. And can you think so little of me to believe I married a man who was surprised? Have you forgotten what you used to say to me? I haven't. Commitment, Abby, commitment. There are only two creatures of value on the face of this earth. Those with a commitment, and those who require the commitment of others. Do you remember, John?
minute, Abigail. What's in those cakes? I don't know. Whatever ladies use with their sewing, and take those cakes to the armory, man, quickly. Franklin. Jackson, what are you just sitting around for? You're wasting time.
John, did you hear a word I said before?
Mind that, Franklin.
John, you're not even speaking to
There's
me.
no time. Here's what you've got to do. Time's running out. Get up, get out of your chair. Tomorrow is here. Too late to despair. Jefferson. Talk to Rutledge, talk. If it takes all night, keep talking. Talk and talk and talk. You're both Southern aristocrats, gentlemen. If anyone can convince you, you can. Franklin, time's running out.
I know, get out of my chair. Do I have to talk to Wilson?
Yes, you do. If it takes all night, keep talking. Talk and talk and talk. Get away from Dickinson. It's the only way you can do it.
I'm still from Massachusetts, John. You know where I stand. I'll do whatever you say.
You're president of this Congress. You're a fair man. And not stay that way. Tell me, Mr. Thompson, out of curiosity, do you stand with Mr. Dickinson, or do you stand with me?
I stand with the general. Lately, I've had the oddest feeling that he's been writing to me. I have been in expectation of receiving a reply on the subject of my last 15 dispatches. Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody care? You're humble and obedient.
Are you hungry, John?
No, I think I'm staying.
Good night, then.
Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody see what I see? They want me to quit. They say, John, give up the fight. Still to England I say, good night, forever good night. For I have crossed the Rubicon, let the bridge be burned behind me. Come what may, come what may. Commitment, the brokers all say we'll rule the day. They'll be held to pay in fiery purgatory. Through all the gloom, I can see the rays of ravishing light and glory. Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody see what I see? I see fireworks. I see the pageants and pomp and parade. I hear the bells ringing out. I hear the cannons roll. chamber is. How silent the chamber is. Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody see what I see?
Yes, Mr. Adams, I do.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
I'm sorry if I startled you. I couldn't sleep. In trying to resolve my dilemma, I remembered something I once read. That a representative owes the people not only his industry, but his judgment. And he betrays them if he sacrifices it to their opinion. It was written by Edmund Burke during the British Parliament.
Very well. The Congress will now vote on Virginia's resolution on independence. Thank you for coming, Caesar, and God bless you, sir. Call the roll, Mr. Thompson, and I remind you, gentlemen, that a single nay vote will defeat the motion. Mr. Thompson.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire says yay.
New Hampshire says yay. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts says yea.
Massachusetts says yay. Rhode Island.
Rhode Island says yay.
Rhode Island says yay. Connecticut.
Connecticut says yay.
Connecticut says yay. New York.
New York abstains.
New York abstains. New Jersey.
New Jersey says yay.
New Jersey says yay. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania.
Mr. Secretary, Pennsylvania's not ready. Please come back to this later.
Pennsylvania passes. Delaware.
Delaware, by majority vote,
Aye.
says yay.
Delaware says yay.
Well done.
Maryland.
Maryland says yay.
Maryland says yay. Virginia.
Virginia says yea.
Virginia says yay. North Carolina.
North Carolina respectfully yields to South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Well, Mr. Adams?
Well, Mr. Rutledge.
Mr. Adams, you must believe that I will do what I have promised to do.
What do you want, Rutledge?
Remove the offended passage.
We did that. We'd be guilty of what we ourselves are rebelling against.
Nevertheless, remove it, or South Carolina will bury now and forever your dream of independence.
John, I beg you, consider what you're doing.
Martin Franklin. If we give in on this issue, I'll spare you feelings.
That's probably true. But we won't hear a thing, John. We'll be long gone. Besides, we lost everything we were anyways. Demigods? We're men. No more, no less. Trying to get a nation started against greater odds than a more generous God would allow. John, first things first. America. Independence. Well, if we don't secure that, what difference will the rest make?
Jefferson, say something.
What else is there to do?
Well, now, you're the one who wrote it.
I wrote all of it, Mr. Adams.
any little good may it do you. Now vote down here.
Mr. President, the fair colony of South Carolina, she says yea.
South Carolina says yay.
North Carolina says yay.
North Carolina says yay. Georgia.
Georgia says yay.
Georgia says yay. Pennsylvania, second call.
President, Pennsylvania regrets all the inconvenience that such distinguished gentlemen as Adams, Franklin, and Jefferson were put through just now. They might have kept their document intact for all the difference of opinion. Mr. President, Pennsylvania.
Just a moment. I ask that the delegation be polled.
Dr. Franklin, don't be absurd.
A poll, Mr. President. It's a proper request.
Yes, it is. Pull the delegation, Mr. Thompson. Dr. Benjamin Franklin. Yay. Mr. John Dickinson.
Nay.
Mr. James Wilson. Judge Wilson.
There it is, Mr. Wilson. It's up to you now. The entire question of American independence rests squarely on your shoulders. An entirely new nation, ready to be born or to die a birth, all on your say-so. Which will it be, Mr. Wilson? Every mapmaker in the world is waiting on your decision.
Come now, James. Nothing's changed. The question is clear.
Most questions are clear, but someone else has to decide them.
It would be a pity for a man who's handed down hundreds of wise decisions from the bench to be remembered only for the one unwise decision he made in Congress.
James, everybody's waiting. The secretary has called for your vote.
Please, don't push me, John. I know what you want me to do. But Mr. Adams is correct about one thing. I'm the one to be remembered for it.
What do you mean?
I'm different from you, John. I'm different from most of the men here. I don't want to be remembered. I just don't want the responsibility.
Yes, well, whether you want it or not, James, there's no way of avoiding it.
Not necessarily. If I vote for them, I'll be only one among dozens. No one will ever remember the name of James Wilson. But if I vote with you, I'll be the man who prevented American independence. I'm sorry, John. I just didn't bargain for that.
And is that how new nations are formed? By a non-entity trying to preserve the anonymity he so richly deserves.
Evolution's come into this world like bastard children, Mr. Dickinson. Half improvised and half compromised. Our side has provided the compromise. Now Mr. Wilson is supplying the rest. James. I'm sorry, John. My vote is yay.
Pennsylvania says yay. The count being 12 to none with one abstention, the resolution on independence is adopted.
It's done.
Mr. Thompson, is the declaration ready to be signed? It is.
Then I suggest we do so. And the chair further proposes that for our mutual security and protection, that no man be allowed to sit in this Congress without attaching his name to it.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. I cannot, in good conscience, sign such a document. I will never stop hoping for our eventual reconciliation with England. But because, in my own way, I regard America no less than does Mr. Adams, I will join the army in fighting for their defense, even though I believe that fight to be hopeless. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Gentlemen of the Congress, I say you, John Dickinson.
Gentlemen, are there any objections to the declaration being approved as it now stands?
Yes, I have one.
You, Mr. Adams?
Yes, Mr. Jefferson, it so happens the word is unalienable, not inalienable.
I'm sorry, Mr. Adams. Inalienable is correct.
I I happen to be a Harvard graduate, Mr. Jefferson, and I attended William and Mary, Mr. Adams.
Gentlemen, please. Mr. Jefferson, will you yield to Mr. Adams' request?
No, sir, I will not. Very well, I withdraw it.
Good for you, John. We are about to brave the storm in a skiff made of paper. And how it will end, God only knows.
That's a pretty large signature there, Johnny.
So Fat George in London could read it without his glasses. All right, gentlemen, step right up. Don't miss your chance to commit treason. Mr. Hancock is right. This paper is our passport to the galleys. But there's no backing out now. If we don't hang together, we shall most assuredly hang separately.
In my case, hanging won't be so bad. One snap and it'll be over. Just like that. Well, look at Reed there. It'll be lucky if they can find a rope strong enough to hold him.
Gentlemen, you must forgive me if I don't join in your merriment. But if we're arrested now, my name is still the only on the damn thing.
From the Commander, Army of the United Colonies and Army of the United States in New York, dispatch number 1209. To the Honorable Congress, John Hancock, President. Dear Sir, I can now report with some certainty that the eve of battle in New York is near at hand. Toward this end, I have ordered the evacuation of Manhattan and directed our defenses to take up stronger positions on the Brooklyn Heights. At the present time, my forces consist entirely of Hazlitt's Delaware militia and Smallwood's Marylanders, a total of 5,000 troops to stand against 25,000 of the enemy. And I begin to notice that many of them are lads, under 15, and old men, none of whom could truly be called soldiers. One personal note to Mr. Lewis Morris of New York. I must regretfully report that his estates have been totally destroyed, but that I have taken the liberty of transporting Mrs. Morris and 8 of the children to Connecticut in safety. The 4 older boys are now enlisted in the Continental Army. As I write these words, the enemy is plainly in sight beyond the river. How it will end, only Providence can direct. But dear God, what brave men I shall lose before this business ends. Your obedient, G. Washington.
Very well. McNair, go ring the bell.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Morris?
to hell with New York. I'll sign it anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Stephen, sit down.
No, I want to remember each man's face as he signs.
Very well. Mr. Thompson.
New Hampshire, Dr. Josiah Bartlett. Massachusetts, Mr. John Adams. Rhode Island, Mr. Stephen Hopkins. Connecticut, Mr. Roger Sherman. New York, Mr. Lewis Morris. New Jersey, the Reverend Jonathan Witherspoon. Pennsylvania, Dr. Benjamin Franklin. Delaware, Mr. Caesar Rodney. Maryland, Mr. Samuel Chase. Virginia, Mr. Thomas